Actually, they are not the actual killer, and you are also not killing them. It is the supreme law, the cause of all causes. Okay. So from 15 to verse number 26, he will describe how Lord is the ultimate cause. भूते पंचभी आराधि योषित पुरुष एव हि तयो व्यवयात् संभूतिर योषित पुरुषोर्यः. Yeah, translation will read.
The creation of the material world begins with the five elements, and thus everything, including the body of a man or a woman, is created of these elements. By the sexual life of man and woman, the number of men and women in this material world is further increased.
Okay. So he says that it is all because of material nature. Of these five elements, man's body is made. Of these five elements, woman's body is made, and from there the creation happens. Okay. So last line, Dhruv Maharaj was indirectly advised not to be afflicted by the death of his brother, because our relationship with the body is completely material. The real self, spirit, soul is never annihilated or killed by anyone. एवं प्रवर्तते सर्ग स्थिति संयम एव च गुण व्यतिकरात् राजन् मायया परमात्मना.
Manu continued, my dear King Dhruva, it is simply by the illusionary material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and by the interaction of three modes of material nature that creation, maintenance and annihilation takes place.
So Prabhupada is explaining in the proper how the creation takes place from the five elements, how the modes of nature act. We all know this, so we'll skip the topic. Then Dhruva may ask, how can the modes of nature, its jad nature, can do it on its own creation, maintenance and destruction without any conscious cause? So then he'll say, Lord is the indirect cause. Nimit matram tatrasin nirguna purusharshabha vyakta vyaktamidam vishwam yatra brahmati lohavat.
My dear Dhruva, the Supreme Personality Godhead is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. He is the remote cause of the creation of this material cosmic manifestation. When he gives the impetus, many other causes and effects are produced, and thus the whole universe moves, just as iron moves by the integrated force of a magnet.
Yeah. So everything is done by Krishna. Okay. So if the Lord is aloof, then how is doing everything? And if Lord doesn't get personally involved, he achieves everything through his inconceivable energies. Sa khalvidam bhagvan kali shaktya guna pravahena vibhakta virya karoti akriteva nihantya hanta cheshta vipurna khalu durvyabhya. Yes.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his inconceivable supreme energy, time, causes the interaction of the three modes of material nature, and thus varieties of energy become manifest. It appears that he is acting, but he is not the actor. He is killing, but he is not the killer. Thus, it is understood that only by his inconceivable power is everything happening.
Okay. So, the previous verse also it was written nimit matram, and this verse is written durvibhya, means inconceivable by our tiny brains. Vibhakta virya, divided in various varieties of potency. Okay. So yeah, you can read from here. We can better understand the mercy of God. First paragraph. Third, fourth.
We can better understand the mercy of God by an example. A government state is always supposed to be merciful, but sometimes, in order to keep law and order, the government employs its police force, and thus punishment is meted out to the rebellious citizens. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of God is always merciful and full of transcendental qualities. but certain individual souls have forgotten their relationship with Krishna and have endeavored to lord it over material nature. As a result of their endeavor, they are involved in varieties of material interaction. It is incorrect to argue, however, that because energy issues from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the actor. In the previous verse, the word nimit matram indicates that the Supreme Lord is completely aloof from the action and reaction of this material world. How is everything being done? The word inconceivable has been used. It is not within the power of one's small brain to comprehend. Unless one accepts the inconceivable power and energy of the Lord, one cannot make any progress. The forces which act are certainly set up by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is always aloof from their action and reaction. The varieties of energies produced by the interaction of material nature produce the varieties of species of life and their resultant happiness and unhappiness.
Okay. So then he's again describing how the time behaves. So ananta antakara kalo anadir adikrit abhyaya janam janena jamyana marayan mrityunantakam.
My dear Dhruva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is ever existing, but in the form of time, he is the killer of everything. He has no beginning, although he is the beginning of everything. Nor is he ever exhaustible, although everything is exhausted in due course of time. The living entities are created through the agency of the Father and killed through the agency of death. But he is perpetually free of birth and death. The supreme authority and inconceivable power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be minutely studied from this verse. He is always unlimited. That means that he has no creation or end. He is, however, death in the form of time. As described in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am death. I take always everything at the end of life. Eternal time is also without beginning, but it is the creator of all creatures. The example is given of the touchstone, which creates many valuable stones and jewels, but does not decrease in power. Similarly, creation occurs many times, everything is maintained, and after a time, everything is annihilated. But the original creator, the Supreme Lord, remains untouched and undiminished in power. The secondary creation is made by Brahma, but Brahma is created by the Supreme Godhead. Lord Shiva annihilates the whole creation, but at the end he is also annihilated by Vishnu. Lord Vishnu remains. In the Vedic hymns it is stated that in the beginning there is only Vishnu and that he alone remains at the end. An example can help us to understand the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Lord. In the recent history of the warfare of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, created a Hitler, and before that a Napoleon Bonaparte, and they each killed many living entities in war. But in the end, Bonaparte and Hitler were also killed. People are still very much interested in writing and reading books about Hitler and Bonaparte and how they killed so many people in war. Year after year, many books are published for public reading regarding Hitler's killing thousands of Jews in confinement. But no one is researching who killed Hitler and who created such a gigantic killer of the human being. The devotees of the Lord are not much interested in the study of the flickering history of the world. They are interested only in Him who is the original creator, maintainer, and annihilator. That is the purpose of the Krishna conscious movement.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. So, if the Lord is ultimate, then he should be blamed. He cannot be accused because he is neutral. Nave sapakshasya vipaksha eva parasya mrityo vashita samapraja dhamdhavamanam अनुधावन्ति अनिशा यथा अंसी अनिलम भूत संगः. Yeah.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his feature of eternal time, is present in the material world and is neutral towards everyone. No one is his ally and no one is his enemy. Within the jurisdiction of the time element, everyone enjoys or suffers the result of his own karma or fruitive activities. As when the wind blows, small particles of dust fly in the air. So, according to one's particular karma, one suffers or enjoys material life.
Purport, please.
Purpose. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original cause of all causes, he is not responsible for anyone's material sufferings or enjoyment. There is no such partiality on the part of the Supreme Lord. The less intelligent accuse the Supreme Lord of being partial and claim that this is why one enjoys in this material world and another suffers. But this verse specifically says that there is no such partiality on the part of the Supreme Lord. Living entities, however, are never independent. As soon as they declare their independence of the Supreme Controller, they are immediately put into this material world to try their luck freely as far as possible. When the material world is created for such misguided living entities, they create their own karma, fruitive activities, and take advantage of the time element, and thereby they create their own fortune or misfortune. Everyone is created, everyone is maintained, and everyone is ultimately killed. As far as these three things are concerned, the Lord is equal to everyone. It is according to one's karma that one suffers and enjoys. The living entity's higher or lower position, his suffering and enjoying are due to his own karma. The exact word used in this connection is anisha, which means dependence on their own karma. The example is given that the government gives everyone the facilities for governmental action and management, but by one's own choice, one creates a situation which obliges him to exist under different types of consciousness. The example given in this verse is that when the wind blows, particles of dust float in the air. Gradually, lighting occurs, and then torrents of rain follow. And thus the rainy season creates a situation of varieties in the forest. God is very kind. He gives everyone an equal chance. But by the resultant actions of one's own karma, one suffers or enjoys this material world.
Yeah. So whenever some sufferings are happening in our life, there is one immediate cause. We see the person who is becoming an instrument of our karma, who is delivering that karmas to us. So that appears to be an immediate cause. Then the remote cause is law of karma, but the ultimate cause is Krishna. So if we always remember this, okay, so it will help us. This philosophy will really help us, because we have seen even many senior devotees, even after spending so many years in Krishna consciousness, we still have this question: why bad things are happening to me? You know, we teach new people why bad things happen to good people, but for us also we think why bad things happen to good devotees. So we forget. So immediate cause means the person who is giving immediate pain to us, he is just an instrument of our karma. The remote cause is the law of karma, and the ultimate sanctioning authority is always Krishna. So if we remember this, remembering the remote cause, that is my karma, then will help us to take shelter of the ultimate cause, Krishna. So we should take that shelter.
Immediate cause.
Hmm?
Immediate cause.
Immediate cause is the person
Who is killing?
who is giving us some distress. Yeah.
कोई previous जो वर्ष था उसका purport में
हाँ.
Lord Shiva annihilates the whole creation, but at the end he is also annihilated by the Vishnu.
Yeah.
शिव जी का annihilation
शिव जी का भी एनिलेशन हो जाता है. जो सदा शिव हैं वो एटर्नल है. जो रुद्र का रूप लेते हैं फॉर एनिहिलेटिंग दिस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड, ही इज ऑल्सो एनिहिलेटेड. बट द सदा शिव सदा इज ऑलवेज इज एटर्नल.
सदाशिव और शिव जी में क्या अंतर है?
सदाशिव जी का जो लोक है वो 1/4 स्पिरिचुअल में है, 3/4 मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में है। और बाकी जो शिव हैं उनके एक्सपेंशंस हैं, जो रुद्र आते हैं एनिहिलेशन करते हैं, देन दे आर आल्सो एनिहिलेटेड। अच्छा, या बट सदाशिव स्टेज थे जो ब्रह्मा जी की भिकुटी से निकलते हैं। ठीक है, ओके। आयुषो अपचयम जंतोस तथैव अपचयम विभु उभाभ्याम रहित स्वस्थो दुस्थस्य विदधात्यसो।
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is all powerful and he awards the results of all creative activities. Thus, although one living entity's duration of life is very small, whereas that of another is very great, he is always in his transcendental position and there is no question of lessening or increasing his duration of life.
Yeah. Okay. Purport, please.
Both the mosquitoes and Lord Brahma are living entities in the material world. Both are minute spark and are part of the Supreme Lord. The very short duration of the life of the mosquito and the very long lifetime of Lord Brahma are both awarded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to the results of their karma. But in the Brahma Samhita we find it said karmani nirdhati. The Lord diminishes or vanquishes the reaction of devotees. The same fact is explained in Bhagavad Gita.
Yagyat kar
Yagyati karmanon
Anyat.
yatra. One should perform karma only for the purpose of satisfying Supreme Lord. Otherwise, one is bound by the action and reaction of karma. Under the laws of karma, a living entity wanders within the universe under the rule of eternal time, and sometime he becomes a mosquito, and sometime Lord Brahma. To a sane man, this business is not very fruitful. Bhagavad Gita 9.5 gives a warning to the living entities. Yanti Deva Vratat Devan. Those who are addicted to the worship of the demigods go to the planets of demigods, and those who are addicted to the worship of the Pitras, forefathers, go to the Pitas. Those who are inclined to material activities remain in the material sphere. But persons who engage in devotional service reach the abode of Supreme Personality of Godhead, where there is neither birth nor death, nor different varieties of life under the influence of laws of karma. The best interest of the living entity is to engage himself in devotional service and go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur advised, my friend, you are being washed away in material nature's waves of time. Please try to understand that you are the eternal servant of the Lord. Then everything will stop and you will be
Yeah.
eternally.
Jiva Krishna Das Hey Vishwas Karle Tarar Dukha Nahi. This is the bhajan. Kichit Karma Vadantenam Swabhavam Apare Nripam Ek Kalam Param Devam Punsa Kama Mudapare. Yes.
The differentiation of varieties of life and their suffering and enjoyment is explained by some to be the result of karma. Others say it is due to nature, others due to time, and others due to fate, and still others say that it is due to desire.
So there are different philosophers saying different things. Okay. If you remember in the first canto, when Parikshit Maharaj asked the bull, who is the cause of your suffering? He says, what can I say? So many philosophers say so many different things. Okay. So you can see in the second paragraph, in the middle, the conclusion is that the different philosophers' theories to explain the varieties of life and their praises and pains are all imperfect. The real explanation is that we are eternal servants of God, and that as soon as we forget this relationship, we are thrown into this material world, where we create our different activities and suffer or enjoy the result. We are drawn to this material world by desire, but the same desire must be purified and employed in the devotional service of the Lord. Then our disease of wandering the universe under different forms and conditions will end. So ultimately it comes to all desire. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvand mohena bharata sarvbhartani samoham sarge yanti parantapa. Okay. But no philosopher can understand Lord's special plan. अव्यक्ता अप्रमेयस्य नाना शक्ति उदयस्य च नावे चिकीर्षितं तात को वेदाथ स्वसंभवम्. Yes. Read.
The absolute truth, transcendence, is never subject to the understanding of imperfect sensory endeavor, nor is he subject to the direct experience. He is the master of varieties of energies, like the full material energy, and no one can understand his plan or action. Therefore, it should be concluded that although he is the original cause of all causes, no one can know him by mental speculation.
Yes. Okay. So Lord's plan no one can understand. Even Bhisham Pitama also said, Nahi yasya kachid rajan puma veda vidishtitam yad vijnanasya yukta mohiyanti kavyopi. Even the great scholars are bewildered. They cannot understand Lord's plan. So you can just see. The cause of all causes, you can see that in the middle of the paragraph, first paragraph.
The cause of all causes, the absolute truth can be known from the absolute truth himself, and not by our ascending process to reach him. When the sun is not visible at night, or when it is covered by a cloud in the day, it is not possible to uncover it, either by the bodily or mental strength or by scientific instruments. Although the sun is there in the sky, no one can say that he has discovered a torchlight so powerful that if one goes on a roof and focuses the torchlight on the night sky, the sun will then be seen. There is no such torchlight, nor is it possible.
Yeah, next please. The
The
word.
word avyakta, unmanifested, in this verse indicates that the absolute truth cannot be manifested by any strain of so-called scientific advancement of knowledge. Transcendence is not the subject matter of direct experience. The absolute truth may be known in the same way as the sun covered by a cloud or covered by night. For when the sun rises in the morning in its own way, then everyone can see the sun, everyone can see the world, and everyone can see himself. This understanding of self-realization is called Atma Tattva. Unless, however, one comes to this point of understanding Atma Tattva, one remains in the darkness in which he was born.
Yeah.
Under the circumstances, no one can understand the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is equipped with the varieties of energies as stated in the Vedic literature. Parasya Shaktir Vivideva Suyate. He is equipped with the energy of the eternal time. Not only does he have the material energy which we see and experience, but he has also many reserve energies that he can manifest in the due course of time.
If you can come to the last Prabhu. In conclusion, 7-8 lines from the bottom. Last. In conclusion, the cause of all causes.
In conclusion, the cause of all causes, the absolute truth or supreme Brahman, cannot be understood by philosophical speculation, but he reveals himself to his devotee because the devotee fully surrenders unto his lotus feet. Bhagavad Gita is therefore to be accepted as a revealed scripture spoken by the absolute truth himself when he descended to this planet. If any intelligent man wants to know what God is, he should study this transcendental literature under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. Then it is very easy to understand Krishna as he is.
Yeah, okay.
One small question. Like this example Srila Prabhupada has given of torchlight. So this example is already quoted by previous acharyas?
Huh? Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur gives a story, no? Upadeshan Akhyan. Bhaktisiddhanta famous stories there. There was one very sycophant king. He called his minister, I want to see in the night. So minister says, I cannot displease the king. He says, yes sir, he called all the citizens, bring their torchlights, we'll bring the sun out. So they keep on shouting whole night, sun come out, sun come out. At 5:30 sun comes out. The king is very pleased, very good. We can make the sun come out. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur gives that story. Na chait putra ka bhratur hantaro dhanadanuga visarga dana yostata punso devam hi karanam.
My dear son, those exes who are descendants of Kuber are not actually the pillar of your brother. The birth
But we cannot hold the Lord responsible for this. Sa e vishvam sajati sa evavati hanti cha athapi hi anhankaran najyate gunakarma bhi. Yes.
Supreme Personality of Godhead creates this material world, maintains it, and annihilates it in due course of time. But because he is transcendental to such activities, he is never affected by ego in such action or by the modes of material nature.
Yeah. He creates but doesn't get attached. We create something, we become so attached. He creates, maintains and annihilates also. And again he creates. Mahavishnu breathes and then he annihilates. Next time again he does the creation. And he knows the purpose for this conditioned souls I am doing this creation, they will remain like this. No one is going to go back to Godhead. Mostly they will remain again in this. I have given them so many chances, still they are not improving. Again the Lord does the creation. He's totally detached. And that shows his love for us also. He's giving so many chances and he's remained detached also.
Krishna will be attached. That is the reason he wants everybody should come back to him.
That is attached, but he's not forcing. So that his only service is to provide facilities. So he's keep on providing facilities. But he is not forcing us. When we create something, we become attached. We try to force. I have created you, you should behave the way I want you to behave. Okay. So, in between Prabhupada is writing, Lord says to Arjuna, you and I had many births previously, but I remember everything, whereas you don't. That is the difference between the living entity or conditioned soul or the Supreme Soul. The Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material body, and because he has no material body, he is not affected by any work he executes. Okay. There are many Mayavadi philosophers who consider Krishna as the body is the effect of concentration of material mode of goodness. And they distinguish Krishna's soul from Krishna's body. In the morning I was saying, the Brahman incarnates under mode of goodness, he becomes Bhagwan, Ishwar. Okay. So how the Lord remains aloof from ego and gunas? Esha bhutani bhutatma bhutesho bhuta bhavana swashaktya maya yukta sijyati cha pati cha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the super soul of all living entities. He is the controller and maintainer of everyone. Through the agency of his external energy, he creates, he maintains and annihilates everyone.
So that because the energy does everything, so he doesn't undergo any transformation. Lord remains as it is. Okay. Now, Dhruva was saying, okay, whatever you're saying is right. First few verses, Swayambhu gave him Vaishnava philosophy. It doesn't good for you. You are such a nice devotee, such a nice family. Still his anger was not getting satisfied. Then he gave the Lord is the cause of all causes. It is all the karmas. Yakshas are not the killers. Then he said, okay, whatever you're saying is, but my ego has been hurt. I am not able to give up my ego. So now in the last 7-8 verses he says, give up your anger and surrender. Just surrender to the Lord. Okay. Tameva mrityum amritam tat devam sarvatma anopehi jagat parayanam yasmai balam vishra sajo haranti gavo yathavai nasidama yantrita. Yes.
My dear boy Dhruva, please surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the ultimate goal of the progress of the world. Everyone, including the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, is working under his control, just as a bull, prompted by a rope in its nose, is controlled by its owner.
Yeah. So it's very difficult to give up the ego just based on knowledge. We have all this knowledge, karma is there, Lord is ultimate doer, but still we have ego. We think ourselves the doer. So until unless we surrender, okay, so we have to surrender. Purport, Mataji.
The middle disease is to declare independence from the Supreme Controller. Actually, our middle existence begins when we forget the Supreme Controller, and we should lord it over between them. Everyone in the middle world is trying his best to become the Supreme Controller, individually, nationally, socially, and in many other ways. Dhruva Maharaja was
So this is very important. So while serving, sometimes the personal ambition comes in. Okay. So that is very dangerous. So when the personal ambition comes in, so we forget the total purpose. Okay. It happens, you know. So that will pollute us. So one should be very, very careful. Arjuna wanted to fight, then his personal ambition came, I won't fight. So here his personal ambition was, I will fight. Okay, continue Mataji.
In this verse, therefore, Swayambhu Manu seeks to eradicate the last stage of false ambition in Dhruva by explaining the position of the supreme controller. The words Mrityu Amritam, death and immortality, are significant. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, I am ultimate death, who takes away everything from the demons. The demons' business is to continually struggle for existence as lords over future nature. The demons repeatedly meet death after death and create a network of involvement in the material world. The Lord is the death for the demons, but for devotees he is Amrita, eternal life. Devotees who render continuous service to the Lord have already attained immortality, for whatever they are doing in this life, they will continue to do in the next. They will simply change them to bodies for spiritual bodies. Unlike the demons, they no longer have to change material bodies. The demons, therefore, is simultaneously death and immortality. Is death for demons and immortality for devotees is the ultimate goal of everyone because he is the cause of all causes. Dhruva Maharaja was advised to surrender to him in all respects without keeping any personal ambition. One may put forward the argument, why are the demigods worshipped? The answer is given here that demigods are worshipped by less intelligent men. The demigods themselves accept sacrifices for the ultimate satisfaction, the supreme personality of Godhead.
You see, when we surrender, there are 6 symptoms of surrender. Anukula se sankalpa, pratikula se vajana, rakshasiti vishwaso, goptatve varnam tata, atmikshepa karpanya, shanvida sharnagati. Now this sharnagati, these 6 steps are in the pair of 3 pairs. Anukula se sankalpa, pratikula se vajana. This is the surrendering of mind. Okay? Our mind is programmed in a certain manner, accept, reject. So whatever we like, we accept, whatever we don't like, we reject. So surrendering means we have to reprogram our mind. Even though I like, but it is not favorable for devotional service, I should reject. Okay? So this is the surrendering of mind. Okay? After surrendering of mind comes the surrendering of intelligence. Okay, I am doing what I am supposed to do, though I don't like it, still I am doing. I am trying to surrender my mind. But will really Lord protect me? You know, that doubt is always there. Will Lord really maintain me? Will I be happy? Then intelligence has to be surrendered. Rakshasit vishwaso goptitve varnam tata. Lord will protect me. Don't keep your separate arrangements. Don't be insecure. Lord will protect me also. Lord will maintain me also. Then this is done. The next step is to surrender our ego. Okay. So how to surrender our ego? We have to remind ourselves, what is my true ego? My true ego is I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am his eternal servant. I am Das Dasanudas. Okay. So I have to take a humble position and always serve him. Right. So my desire is Lord's desire and Guru's desire is foremost, and I'll dovetail my desires to the desires of Guru and Krishna. So this is how it begins. So first of all, we have to surrender our mind. If you're not doing that, and we are expecting the Lord will protect me, it won't happen. Lord will protect me if I have done Anukula se sankalpa, pratikula se varjana. Then the protection will come. Srila Prabhupada says, those who have taken initiation, but they are not following four legacy principle, not chanting 16 rounds, I cannot give them protection. So protection is ensured if we are following the first 2. Lord will certainly protect us and He will maintain us also because we are doing the first 2. And then we surrender our ego also. That is a complete surrender. So here he is saying, you surrender your ego now. You are not the doer. Okay.
Would you please repeat that surrendering the intelligence also? Mind you understood.
Intelligence, Mataji, intelligence, through intelligence we make plans. Plan for our future security, our maintenance. With that intelligence we do. So sometimes we may be scared. Sometimes we feel insecure while performing devotional service. So we should remind ourselves, Lord will protect me. Because I am doing Anukul or Sankalpa, I am doing that. Anukul is a Sankalpa, Tukul is a Vajana. Lord will surely protect me. And we have this confidence, Lord surely protects us.
So, to reprogram my intelligence that yes, Lord will protect me.
Yeah. First we have to first reprogram our mind.
Yes.
What is favorable, I should accept, whether I like it or don't like it. Right?
Second is to accept that God will protect me.
Yeah.
And ego,
Ego is yes. What is my? I may be doing this, and still I am very proud. See, I am doing all these things. So everything is being done by Krishna only. I am just an instrument. It is all by the mercy. Whatever I am having is all by the mercy. So we have to keep on reminding ourselves.
Surrendering our ego, that is harmonic karpanya.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji.
अभी आपने एग्जाम्पल बताया प्रभुपाद जी ने बोला I will not protect. But sometimes we do not follow the principles very nicely. But still we see that Krishna and Guru are protecting us. So how can we understand?
Yeah, they are extra merciful, but we cannot take their mercy for granted. हमारा तो हमेशा ही प्रयास रहता है अभी गिर जाऊँ है ना? Most of the conditions for devotees, we act in such a way, we are so careless. Abhi gire. That is all Krishna's mercy that we are being saved. But we cannot take it for granted.
Here the protection and saving means that again faith and consciousness.
Faith and consciousness.
Not the body.
Not the body, obviously. Okay. या पंचवर्षो जननीं त्वं विहाय मातु सपत्न्या वचसा भिन्न मर्मा वनं गतस्तप्स्या प्रत्यगक्ष माराध्य लेभे मूर्धिन पदम त्रिलोक्य.
My dear Dhruva, at the age of only 5 years, you were very grievously afflicted by the words of your mother's cold. And you were boldly gave up the protection of your mother and went to the forest to engage in the holy process to seek the realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As a result of this, you have already achieved the topmost position in all the three worlds.
Yeah, so you are already surrendered souls. You don't do anything which is not befitting you. Okay? Purport Mataji.
Manu was very proud that Dhruva Maharaj was one of the descendants in his family, because at this age of only 5 years, Dhruva began meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and within 6 months he was able to see the Supreme Lord face to face. Actually, Dhruva Maharaj is the glory of the Manu dynasty. All the human family begins from Manu. The Sanskrit word for man is Manushya, which means descendant of Manu. Not only this is Dhruva Maharaj the glory of the family of Swambhu Manu, but he is the glory of the entire human society. Because Dhruva Maharaj had already surrendered to the Supreme Godhead, he was especially requested not to do anything befitting a surrender soul.
Okay? So, we should also, whenever we see a devotee, we should remind, we are initiated, we are in such a, wonderful movement. So, we should not do anything which is not befitting to our status. Okay? Yeah.
Guruji, here we can understand in such fashion. See, in the childhood age, Dhruva Maharaj being explain about the ultimate cause of it, and here also is been explaining the who's the ultimate cause, and he always focus on the ultimate cause, and Dhruva Maharaj has such fortune, somebody is there to make him understand the ultimate cause.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, this episode, it's teaching us that at whatever status we may be, we should always remain careful. Conscious of Krishna and cautious of Maya, always. We can never take things for granted. मेरे को भगवान के दर्शन हो गए, भगवान ने गारंटी दी है कि वापस आओगे ही आओगे, अब खुल के जैसा मर्जी रहो. Not like that. We should always be conscious of Krishna and cautious of Maya. Never take it for granted. Even from the Bharat Maharaj we learn this. Bharat Maharaj was the stage of bhav. Prabhupada is willful neglect. You know, he willfully neglected his sadhana. He was such a at the stage of bhav, he just neglected his sadhana, willful neglect. So Bharat Maharaj example, Krishna did all this just to teach all of us. His fall down was orchestrated by Krishna only.
So Krishna inspired him to go.
Yeah. And just to set an example for all the sadhakas in the future. And Krishna gave him special protection also. His consciousness was protected. As a deer also, he was a devotee. Okay. So now you should turn your attention to the Lord. Tamenam angatmani mukta vigrahe vyapashritam nirgunam ekam aksharam atmanam anvicham vimuktam atmudrik yasmin idam bhedam asat pratiyate.
My dear Dhruva, please therefore turn your attention to the Supreme Person, who is infallible Brahman. Face the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your original position, and thus by self-realization you will find this material differentiation to be merely flickering.
Okay. Yeah. So last Mataji, a devotee who is already liberated.
Devotee who is already liberated does not see differentiation in terms of the outward body. He sees all living entities as spirit soul, eternal servants of the Lord. Dhruva Maharaj was advised by the Lord Manu to see with that vision. He was specifically advised to do so because he was a great devotee and should not have looked upon other living entities with ordinary vision. Indirectly, Manu pointed out to Dhruva Maharaj that out of material affection, Dhruva thought of his brother as his kin and the Yaksas as his enemies. Such observation of differentiation subsides as soon as one is situated in the original position as an eternal servant of the Lord.
Yeah. So you should come to your natural position now. Tvam pradyagatmani tada bhagvati ananta ananda matra upapan samasta shaktau bhaktim vihaya paramam shanakera vidya granthim vibhityasi mahaham iti pruraudam.
Thus regaining your natural position and rendering service unto the Supreme Lord, who is the all-powerful reservoir of all pleasure and who lives in all living entities as a super soul. You will very soon forget the illusory understanding of I and my.
So, have you forgotten when you were 5-year-old what you did? Okay. So, purport please.
Dhruva Maharaj was already a liberated person because at the age of 5 years he had seen the personality of Godhead. But even though liberated, he was for the time being afflicted by the illusion of Maya, thinking himself the brother of Uttama in the bodily concept of life. The whole material world is working on the basis of I and mine. This is the root of attraction to the material world. If one is attracted by this root of illusory conception, I and mine, he will have to remain within the material world in different exalted or nasty positions. By the grace of Lord Krishna, the sage, and Lord Manu reminded Dhruva Maharaj that he should not continue this material conception of I and mine. Simply by devotional service unto the Lord, his illusion would be eradicated without difficulty.
Yeah, okay. So please give up your anger. Sanyachrosham bhadram te pratipam shreyasam param shruten bhuyasa rajana agdena yatha mayam.
My dear king, just consider what I had said to you, which will act as medicinal treatment upon disease. Control your anger, for anger it is foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. I wish all good fortune for you. Please follow my instructions.
It's very good instruction for all of us. Yeah. And then, Shruten, by hearing, Bhuyasa, constantly. If you want to give up anger, constantly hear. Okay? By constantly hearing, we can give up our anger. This will act as a medicine. Okay? Again, by medical treatment, yatha amayama, disease is cured. Okay? Purport, please.
Dhruva Maharaj was liberated soul, and actually he was not angry with anyone, but because he was the ruler, it was his duty to become angry for some time in order to keep law and order in the state. His brother Uttama was without fault, yet he was killed by one of the Yaksha. It was the duty of Dhruva Maharaj to kill the offender, life for life, because Dhruva was the king. When the challenge came, Dhruva Maharaj fought vehemently and finished and punished the Yaksha sufficiently. But anger is such that if one increase it, it increased unlimitedly. In order that Dhruva Maharaj kingly anger not exceed the limit, Manu was kind enough to check his grandson. Dhruva Maharaj could understand the purpose of his grandfather, and he immediately stopped the fighting. The word Shrutena Bhayushya by constantly hearing one are very important in this verse. By constantly hearing about devotional services, one can check the force of anger, which is
Detrimental.
to the process of devotional service. Srila Parikshit Maharaj, sorry, I lost somewhere. Srila Parikshit Maharaj said that the constant hearing of the pastime of the Lord is the panacea for all the material diseases. Everyone therefore should hear about the Supreme Personality of a Godhead constantly. By hearing, one can always remain in the equilibrium
and thus his progress in
progress in the spiritual life will not be hampered.
So hearing is very important. So whenever we hear, we are reminded who is the Supreme Lord, who is the cause of all causes, law of karma. So we come to equilibrium. Otherwise, we can store so much of negativity in our heart, so many grudges we can keep in our heart. This must be experience of any one of you. Can share your experience. We stopped hearing and we went in a different mood, and when we started hearing, we could come out of our shell. Any experience? Constant hearing.
Different experience. I'm not that stopped hearing, but different experience.
Yeah.
That in practice, while practicing spiritual life, was very, very distressed, very, very disturbed, and questioning the very point that of having joined ISKCON and of continuing devotional service. But then got the opportunity to hear, approach a Vaishnava, senior Vaishnava, and got the opportunity to hear from him. By that hearing, the heart was softened, melted. The grudges that were there were all gone, and reinstated in determination to practice devotional service.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, this is the power of hearing. It is everything. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj used to say, Hari Katha is the solution for all the problems. So we should really learn from this. And this is a very nice verse. Bhuyasa Shrutena, Shrutena Bhuyasa. Okay, the medicine is available with us. Only thing is, we don't have the willingness to take the medicine. We have all the things. We have chanting, we have hearing, we have books, everything is with us. Deities are there, and they are all ready to bestow mercy, benedictions. Spiritual masters are, devotees are there. Only thing lacking is our willingness to take benefit from all of this. Okay? And the next paragraph, Prabhupada is narrating the story of Narad Muni and snake. So in this material world, sometimes we may have to show anger, but we have to show the anger, not to get angry. Okay? That is question. Okay. Yeah. Yena upsrishtad purushan loka udvichite bhrisham na buddhastad vasham gachet icchan abhyam atmana.
If person desires liberation from this material world should not fall under the control of anger, because when bewildered by anger, one becomes a source of dread for all others.
Yeah, everyone becomes fearful of that person who is angry. You know? And out of anger, we may commit so many offenses also. Okay? Purport, please.
A devotee or saintly person should not be dreadful to others, nor should anyone be a source of dread to him. If one treats others with non-enmity, then no one will become his enemy. There is the example, however, of Jesus Christ, who had enemies, and they crucified him. The demonic are always present, and they find fault even in saintly persons. But a saintly person never becomes angry, even if there is very great provocation.
Okay. So because when we become angry, we burns our all credits, spiritual credits are burned. You know? And it's very dangerous. And why we get angry? What is the main reason we get angry?
When our desires are not fulfilled.
Desires are not fulfilled. Any other reason? We want to be the controllers. We want to be controllers. I want the things the way I want, when I want. But we are not the controllers. So when we hear, we come to know Krishna is the ultimate controller. So whenever we are feeling angry, envious, we should remind ourselves, you are not the controller. Cool down, you are not the controller. This is to make you humble. You are not the controller. Okay? Helanam Girish Bhratura Dhanadasya Tvaya Kritam Yag Jagnivan Punyajanan Bhratragranan Iti Amrishita.
My dear Dhruva, you thought that the Dakshas killed your brother and therefore you have killed great numbers of them, but by this action you have agitated the mind of Lord Shiva's brother Kubera, who is the treasurer of the demigods. Please note that your actions have been very disrespectful to Kubera and Lord Shiva.
Purport?
Lord Manu stated that Dhruva Maharaj had been offensive to Lord Shiva and his brother Kubera because the Jakshas belonged to Kubera's family. They were not ordinary persons. As such, they have been described as Punna Jana, pious men. Somehow or other, the mind of the Kubera had been agitated and Dhruva Maharaj was advised to pacify him.
Okay. Tam prasade vatsasau sanatya prasharuktabhi na yavan mahatam teja kulam na abhivishyati.
For this reason, my son, you should immediately pacify Kuber with gentle words and prayers, and thus his wrath will not affect our family.
Yeah. Purport, please.
In our common dealings, we should maintain friendship with everyone, and certainly with such exalted demigods as Kuber. Our behavior should be such that no one should become angry and thereby commit a wrong to individuals, families, or society.
Yeah. So a devotee should be perfect gentleman.
Even
Yeah.
in mental situations also, like in the office life or anywhere.
Yeah.
Like
We should be try to very friendly.
even if there are certain situations which are
Then behave like a snake. Just show your hood. Don't bite. Just show your anger.
you can show anger, no?
Yeah. That we have to show. But don't get internally disturbed. Evam swayambho potram anushaya manordhruvam tenabhivanditi sakam rishibhi swapuram yayo. Yes.
Manu, after giving instruction to Dhruva Maharaj, his grandson received respectful obeisances from him. Then Lord Manu and the great sages went back to their respective
Homes. Yes.
and the Bhakti Vedanta purpose of the 11th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The title Shiva Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj to stop fighting.
Hari Bol. Wow, very great achievement. Today we completed 3 chapters. Only last chapter is there. Tomorrow we'll do that. Yeah.
One question, like devotees, they have said that if they do something wrong also, they do not do prashchit. They simply do bhakti and that takes care of everything. So how do we understand that here is being asked to pacify a demigod Kubera? Who is being asked?
It's not prashchit.
Pacify.
Pacify. It's not pacify because you have offended him. Kubera is feeling offended. It's not good. So you should go and pacify him.
It is saying sorry. It is just saying sorry.
Yeah.
Not prashchit.
Prashchit. Just pacify him. Go and pacify.
So it's a relatively small amount is being asked. Like we pay respects.
Yeah.
So that way it is being asked to
Yes.
pay respects.
Yes. Pay respects and pacify. Beg forgiveness.
Therefore, that's all. And go on with your work.
Yes. Yes. Anything else?
डिवोटीज के लिए जब शो ऑफ जब फूड दिखाना मींस एंगर बट जब कोई एंग्री हो जाता है तो मुंह में कुछ बोल देता है तो वो भी वो बोलना नहीं चाहिए एंगर
जोर से बोलिए माता जी को बताइए क्या बोल
एंगर का टाइम में वी हैव टू कि बोलना आई मीन बोलना नहीं है कुछ चुप रहना
तो एंगर कैसे दिखाएंगे आंखों से है
बोलेंगे तो रॉन्ग वर्ड्स आ जाएगा ना
हाँ तो फिर कंट्रोल में रखना है कंट्रोल्ड एंगर रखना पड़ेगा इट्स रिस्की इवन जब हनुमान जी ने लंका जला दी थी ना उसके बाद भी हनुमान वाल्मीकि रामायण में हनुमान जी बहुत अपने आप को कोसते हैं और गुस्से के ऊपर बहुत कुछ बोलते हैं एंगर के ऊपर क्रोध के ऊपर कि मुझे क्रोध आ गया मैंने लंका जला दी इसी लंका में सीता मैया है मैंने इतना भी नहीं सोचा कि इसी लंका में सीता मैया वो भी जल सकती थी उनको भी हार्म हो सकता था तो बहुत कोसते हैं अपने आप को हालांकि उन्होंने अपना गुस्सा भगवान की सेवा के लिए लगाया था लेकिन वहाँ पर बता रहे हैं फिर भी अगर भगवान की सेवा के लिए गुस्सा करना सोच समझ के करना तो बहुत सोचा उन्होंने बहुत अपने आप को कोसा मैंने क्या कर दिया है तो कंट्रोल रखना है इसको और कुछ यस माता जी
जैसे हमने कल पढ़ा था कि कृष्णा विल प्लीज प्रोटेक्ट मी फ्रॉम मटेरियल डिजायर्स जैसे हम मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में रहते हैं तो कभी कभी बहुत अनफेवरेबल सिचुएशंस आती हैं तो हम हरि नाम लेते हैं पर क्या साथ में हम जैसे मैंने सुना था गजेंद्र मोक्ष कथा होती है तो हम उसका पाठ कर सकते हैं
अच्छा तो भगवान से प्रार्थना कर सकते हैं कि अगर आप चाहते हैं तो ऐसा कर दीजिए अगर आपको लगता है कि मेरे लिए बेनिफिशियल है तो कर दीजिए अदरवाइज़ आपके जो भी प्लान्स हैं मुझे शक्ति दीजिए उसको मैं समझ सकूं जिद नहीं करनी है भगवान से मुझे चाहिए ऐसे कर सकते हैं आई मीन इफ़ इट इज़ रियली डिस्टर्बिंग यू तो ठीक है
जैसे हमने भी पढ़ा सुनीति माता जो थी उन्होंने ध्रुव महाराज के वेलफेयर के लिए और सेफ्टी के लिए प्रेयर्स की थी तो क्या हम भी अपनी जो फैमिली होती है और उनके लिए अगर हम प्रेयर करते हैं उनके वेलफेयर के लिए उनके वेलबींग के लिए तो क्या ये मटीरियल डिज़ायर होती है क्या मटीरियल प्रेयर होती है
हमें किसी के लिए भी प्रेयर करना है तो उसके स्पिरिचुअल वेलबींग के लिए करनी चाहिए फॉर एनी लिविंग एंटिटी बिकॉज रियल बेनिफिट इज स्पिरिचुअल वेलबींग हम उसका मटीरियल वेलबींग के लिए प्रार्थना करेंगे ही में गेट एंटेंगल्ड हो सकता है कर्मों में बन जाए तो हम वर्ष करेंगे उसका स्पिरिचुअल वेलबींग के लिए प्रार्थना कोई बीमार भी है फॉर स्पिरिचुअल वेलबींग एनी एंटिटी हमारे रिलेटिव हैं मित्र हैं डिवोटीज हैं वी शुड प्रे फॉर देयर स्पिरिचुअल वेलबींग
अगर कोई बीमार है तो फिर उसके मतलब व्हाट शुड बी आवर वर्ड्स इन अ प्रॉपर वे कि हम क्या कैसे करेंगे
we say we really love a devotee and he is sick we can pray to Krishna please make him healthy we want his association but whatever you do it should be good for his spiritual well-being अब हो सकता है वो डिवोटी बहुत सफ़र कर रहा हो भगवान के प्लान्स में उसको अच्छा शरीर दे के और अच्छे मैंने भक्ति करवानी है फिर अपना सेल्फिश डिज़ायर क्यों है बट वी कैन एक्सप्रेस अवर डिज़ायर वी वांट हिज एसोसिएशन बट वट एवर इज गुड फॉर हिज स्पिरिचुअल वेलबींग प्लीज डू दैट समटाइम्स डिवोटीज में बी सफरिंग इन ICU and if it's better they leave their body and get a new body
लॉर्ड शिवा और रुद्र का एनिलेशन वाला क्लास सिखाया था, उसमें लाइक लॉर्ड शिवा इज नॉट जीव तत्व,
Yeah.
ब्रह्मा तक जीव तत्व है. So when the whole of them are annihilated with Brahma, all the jiva they enter into the body of Vishnu. So this Rudra, when he is annihilated, so he go to the spiritual world to Sadasiv, or he also enters into Vishnu? ऐसा कुछ explain है क्या?
सर मैंने कहीं पढ़ा नहीं है ऐसा, बट ही इज़ एनिलेटेड, ये तो लिखा है
ये लिखा हुआ है.
कि वो सदाशिव में एंटर करते हैं कि विष्णु में एंटर करते हैं.
वो नहीं पता.
I'll check up. I'll let you know tomorrow. Check up.
और annihilation पूरी जब ब्रह्मा जी की डेथ होती
तभी होती है.
तभी-
Yes. तभी.
तभी
Yes. Yes. Yes.
भैया आपने वो चेक करना वो conch shell when he touches the conch shell.
हाँ वो था, पर्पल में मैंने पढ़ा था. कॉन्शियल में दिया तो ही गॉट फुली प्यूरिफाइड. ओके, ठीक है. थैंक यू वेरी मच. सो टुमारो यू आर मीटिंग एट 11:30. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, ध्रुव महाराज की, दाई गौर प्रेमानंदे, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय.